This video is brought to you by John Robson Guitar Tuition. If you enjoy the content, please consider supporting the channel by enrolling on a course, purchasing some guitar lessons or a t-shirt, or you can join my Patreon. Now, on with the show.
Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. Now then, every so often, quite often actually, in the comments section below whatever video I've put up, there will always be somebody saying, what's that guitar hanging on the wall behind you? Tell us a little bit more about it. Whichever guitar it is they're referring to, So I thought today I'd just bundle all of this up into one video and show you each of the guitars that you can see as my regular backdrop and give you a little bit of information about how I came to get them and what I use them for. Here we go.
Scott Guitars, John Robson signature model.
Okay, so this is the guitar that you're probably most familiar with, that you see a lot of in my videos these days. This is my Scott Guitars John Robson signature model, and it still feels a little bit odd saying John Robson signature model. I never ever dreamed that I would get my own signature model guitar, but I have. The story behind this is Dan from Scott Guitars. Basically, he built his first prototype guitar, which was a twin humbucker Telecaster, very similar to this. I think it's still currently in the hands of Mike from China Guitar Skeptic. I think he's possibly fallen in love with that original prototype. But anyway, when I did the review of that guitar, Dan said to me after the review, he says, "Would you like me to make you a signature model?" And I said, "Well, yeah." And one or two changes, like we've got on the volume pot here, it's a push pot, and that splits the pickup so you can get single coil sounds. And we've got phase switching there, so you can get that sort of Peter Green tone. Mahogany body, maple top, Sapele body, maple top, Sapele neck. Beautiful, beautiful guitar, and can really recommend these. 1,350 is what you'll have to part with to get one of these, but you're getting something that is easily on a par with, kind of PRS core range guitars. So there you go, that's that one. Next.
Gordon Smith, GS 1.5.
Okay, then another favourite. This is my Gordon Smith GS 1.5. This is was a big deal for me getting this, because I used to own a Gordon Smith GS2 back in the 90s, and like a fool, I sold it. I was seduced by a PRS, basically, and sold the original Gordon Smith to partially fund the PRS. And the moment I walked away from the post office, having sent the Gordon Smith onto its new owner, I was thinking, what have I done? And I always regretted selling it, and getting another Gordon Smith was a big ambition for me. This one, as you can see, it's kind of, well, like many Gordon Smith guitars, it's based on like a Les Paul Junior, Les Paul Special kind of thing. You've got a cedar body, one-piece cedar body, cedar neck, rosewood fretboard, Gordon Smith's own in-house pickups, and it's a beautiful, beautiful, versatile workhorse of a guitar, and I just think it's a lovely looking thing as well. Just the way, I don't know if you can see the way that the wood catches the light there, it really does, kind of look nice and sound good as well. So there you go, Gordon Smith GS 1.5.
Fender Deluxe Nashville Telecaster.
And here we go with the Fender Deluxe Nashville Telecaster. Beautiful guitar. All of the best elements of a Strat and a Telecaster all in one guitar, because you've got the middle pickup there. This guitar came to me as a gift. A very, very generous chap called Joe, who is one of my students in the States. He's a guitar collector, and he was basically in one of the lessons, he said, I opened up a guitar case the other day, and there was this guitar in it, and he pulled out one of these. He said, I'd forgotten I'd got it. He says, do you want it? So I did that very British thing of, kind of, oh, I couldn't possibly, but it became pretty clear that if I kind of protested too much, he was probably going to be offended. So I said, well, yes, Joe, it's very generous of you. Thank you very much. And then, I think we both kind of forgot about it. And then I get an email from Toman saying that, there's a delivery turning up for you tomorrow. And I thought, what have I done? What have I ordered when I'm drunk? That kind of thing. And anyway, long story short, Joe had looked into shipping his deluxe Nashville Telecaster over to me, and it was just prohibitively expensive from the States to the UK. So he ordered me one from Toman and had it shipped to me. I was just, well, still am, gobsmacked by that. What a thing to do. Thank you so much, Joe. I still treasure this guitar and always will. You are a genuinely generous human being, a true gentleman. Thank you so much. Lovely guitar. Next.
Harley Benton Dreadnought.
Okay, the token acoustic guitar. I'm not a big acoustic player. This is just for basically a little bit of texture when I do a recording, just a bit of acoustic bubbling away in the background. It's a Harley Benton something or other. I forget which, what the actual designation is, but it's not a bad little guitar. 75 quid this cost me, and it's a kind of plug-in electro-acoustic, and just using the plugged-in sound with a little bit of EQ, it records pretty well, as I say, as part of a mix, which is what I use it for. I actually did, the one main track I did with this was the title track from my the Whiskey Made Me Do It album. So if you want to hear that guitar in action, just go and look for that on Spotify, and you can hear what it sounds like. Cheap and cheerful, nice, plays nice low action, sounds, kind of to my uneducated acoustic ears. It sounds, perfectly fine for what I need it for. So there you go. Harley Benton Dreadnought style plug-in electroacoustic thing. Next.
Harley Benton CST-24.
Okay, the guitar which probably more than any other has the most sentimental value for me. This is a Harley Benton CST-24. I used to have the guitar that this is, kind of quite obviously a knockoff of, and PRS basically. And ended up having to sell it. The reason I had to sell it was because I needed to raise some funds, and the reason I needed to raise some funds was because I had to pay for my mother's funeral. And, you do what you got to do. Anyway, about 10 years after she passed away, I got a letter from the Halifax Bank saying, we've been trying to trace you, Mr. Robson. Could you pop into a local branch with 2 forms of ID? Well, okay. Anyway, to cut a long story short, my mother had quite a substantial sum of money, 4 figures anyway, just over £1,000, in an account. And they'd been trying to find her next of kin, i.e. me, ever since she passed away. And so I walked into the local branch of Halifax with my passport and a utility bill, and walked out with a big wad of notes. And I thought, I'll get another PRS. That was the initial thought. Obviously, I wouldn't have been able to afford a core PRS, but I thought maybe a used S2 or maybe one of the higher end SEs. And I'd already got a Harley Benton Les Paul copy, the SC 450, at that time. That was one of the guitars that passed through my hands. I saw these and I thought, well, I'll try one, just to see how, what it's like. And, so I did. and I thought, this is really, really rather good. It's had some modifications over the years. The bridge that came on it was not the best thing for sustain, so I put a new bridge on it. I don't know what these are shipped with nowadays, but it was kind of a copy of a Wilkinson wrap-over bridge that was on here, and I put the actual genuine Wilkinson one on. Then it's got the Vanson Classic 57 PAF humbuckers on there, Alnico 2 magnet pickups, fantastic sounding vintage humbucker pickups, and I put a new set of tuners on it as well, because the original ones are okay, but I just prefer a higher ratio tuner. And apart from that, you know, bridge, pickups and tuners, that's it. These guitars are really good straight out of the box, but it was just seemed, you know, like I could improve it a lot by spending a little bit of money. So I did. This one will never be leaving me. As I say, this one will always remind me of me mum. She bought me this from beyond the grave, basically, so this one is quite special. Next.
The OClock Telecaster.
Okay, the OClock Telecaster. This one is basically a guitar that I've butchered and messed around with plenty over the years, and it originally came from a charity shop in Redcar, where it was in the window for 25 quid. And so I thought, well, you know, why not? What have I got to lose? It looked very, very different to this. It was more of a standard kind of blonde, black pickguard, I think black pickguard Tele for a while. Incidentally, I should say, this pickguard here, that many people, when they see it on the wall, they think it's a Paisley pickguard. It's not. It's a load of old beer bottle labels. Since I got it, it's had a new neck, because the original neck was only a 21 fret neck. I prefer 22. The pickups are currently an iron gear steel twin pickup, which is on that push pot there. Basically what that does is it's still a single coil, but it kicks in another coil, basically doubles the output of the pickup for when you really want to kind of set the amp on fire. And then a Wilkinson Alnico 5 P90 at the front there. I have no idea what the body timbre is. It might be poplar, it might be pine, maple neck, obviously. This is just a guitar. I use this now for slide. There is just something about that boosted bridge pickup and that neck P90 that when you're in the mixed position on the switch, it just absolutely sings for slide. So that's what that one gets used for. Again, I'll never part with this, mainly because, you know, it's probably worth about 35 pence if I was to sell it. I sanded the original finish off and had a go at kind of giving it more of a kind of darker look with some Ron Seal wax, which didn't work too well and ended up kind of looking like a relict guitar, which isn't something I'm that fond of usually, but this isn't relicking, this is just an inept kind of finished job on my part, but it kind of looks pretty cool, I guess. And as I say, great bluesy sound for slide. So that's the charity shop OClock Telecaster. Next.
Some cheap bass bought on eBay.
Okay, moving on to the dark side. 4 strings this time. This is my bass. I wish I could tell you something about it, but I can't. It was listed on eBay as bass guitar brackets used, and it was about 50 or 60 quid, I think. And I don't know what it is. I don't know anything about it. It plays okay, sounds pretty good when it's plugged in. This is the bass that you hear on all of my recordings, all of the jam tracks that are up on Patreon, and all of the kind of demonstrations that you see in the YouTube videos. This is the bass that gets used. I usually run it into, these days, it's into one of the, I think, custom bass amp model in bias amp. That's what I use for this. And a little bit of compression in Reaper, and, you know, I'm sure most bass players can listen to it and find bass aficionados can listen to it and find fault with it, but it does what I need it to do. I'm not really a bass player. I just kind of, I know enough to be dangerous when it comes to playing bass. So that's me bass. Nothing more to say about it than that. If you can identify it, if you can tell me what make and model this is, just leave a comment down below. But you now know as much about this bass as I can tell you. So there we go. Next.
Harley Benton ST57DG.
And finally, we come to the Harley Benton Strat copy, the ST57DG, which this was one of the guitars that I bought with the GoFundMe thing when I was doing that for Zoe's place, and I liked it so much I decided to keep it. I was in the market for something Stratty, basically, and I needed a trem because I was just putting together or beginning to plan doing a David Gilmour Udemy course, which is available down in the description, by the way. Check it out if you're a fan of David Gilmour. So this is obviously the Harley Benton copy of David Gilmour's Black Strat. Since I got it, it's got an Artec kind of rails style humbucker in the bridge. I always do that on all Strats. I can just never seem to get a sound that I like very often out of a regular Strat single coil bridge pickup, so hence the Artec there. It's got a Wilkinson trem on it. I replaced the trem with something a little bit more stable. And what else? Well, yes, you can see it's got the Fret Zealot system installed. Fantastic thing, the Fret Zealot, I have to say. I don't use it so much these days, but when I was having, before lockdown, when I was having students actually coming to the house, I would get them playing this guitar, and it really did help their progress. There was just something about seeing it lit up that kind of, in an hour's lesson, when they would kind of be following the LEDs on the neck, that would get them, would get it into their whatever scale pattern or chord shape or whatever, would get that into their memory a lot more effectively. So I can highly recommend the Fret Zealot. These days, I don't really use this guitar very much because I don't find myself using the needing to use a trem. If I need something Stratty sounding, then I'll use that deluxe Nashville Telecaster. But these are a great guitar, fantastic Strat style guitar, highly recommended, and absolutely cheap as chips as well. So if you like Strats and you're on a budget, check one out. So there you go. That's the final guitar we're looking at today. Hope you've enjoyed this little rundown of the instruments that I have hanging on the wall. If you've enjoyed the video, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so. And why not give me a like while you're at it? If you want to support the channel, all the links are downstairs in the description. Thank you so much to anyone who's doing any of that stuff, and thank you in advance if you're thinking about doing it. Don't forget the live stream tomorrow, 5 p.m. Friday, UK time. We sit around and have a beer and a chat about guitars and other things that might crop up. Great way to kick off the weekend. I'd love to see you there. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time, folks. Stay well, stay safe, look after yourselves, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.